Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here, bringing you some more StarCraft action. This is once again going to be continuing coverage of the MSL, and I think for the first time in this MSL since we started doing it, I am actually going to upload this before Veroge. He's been beating me basically every single time, but this time I think I've got his number. I think he's just a little bit more busy than I am. So we are on to the round of 16 at this point, so we divvied it up, and I am getting the first series. This is going to be Stork, who is one of the best players around, and Hydra, who is also one of the best players around, and our returning MSL champion. So Stork is going to have to advance. He's going to have to dethrone Hydra and knock him off before he can go any farther. This first map is going to be Dante's Peak. So I think Stork is going to have a little bit of an uphill battle in this. I actually don't know what the percentages are, but just from watching games, it feels quite Zerg favored. It's been not very pretty holding your third for a Protoss player. It's very, very difficult on this map. And Hydra's a smart player. You know, you don't win an MSL without being a pretty smart guy. And he's probably going to have some sort of anti-third base build going, like it's been effective over and over again. So that's what I'd expect to see. We're seeing Stork's probe put down the pylon, and then it's scouting right now just past that the third base that I'm talking about. That's very difficult to hold. That is where Stork will probably throw up his third base, and that will be a very important stage of the game. Whether or not Stork can hold it, if he can hold Hydra off, then he'll be in good shape. Assuming, of course, that we get to that point in the game. Get into the later stages of the mid-game. Let's see, what else are we doing? So, just to organize it for you guys so you know what's going to be appearing on whose channel, I will be covering Hydra versus Stork. I'll also be covering Mind versus Light, so that's A and B. And then, other than that, from the second day, I will be covering Zero versus Hero. The little rhyming game going on. That's match E. And then I also have match H, which is Really versus Flash. And that means that the other four groups are going to Veroge. They'll be uploaded to his channel. It's Alita versus Solki, Calm versus Hyuk, Great versus Harang 2, and Jadong versus Reality. So look for all those games on Veroge's channel. And that will be good. Yep, we've got it. And there we go. Finally, we've got a scout out, a second probe coming out for Stork. So he's got the scout, and he's sending his first probe home. Spawning pool already down, as well as a hatchery started at the natural expansion for Hydra. So it doesn't look like we're seeing anything too tricky here. Stork is going to have to go with the cannon first, two cannons first, in order to counter the early spawning pool of Hydra. Thankfully, he did not try to cheat and try and build a Nexus before one of those cannons. That could have been disastrous for Stork, but waiting until he scouted Hydra out, he's okay. And he actually canceled one of the cannons. Looks like he only needed one, I believe, because Hydra snuck an extra drone in, so he did not produce the normal 6 Zerglings, which is normal, but less than that, and that's going to make things a little bit easier to expand for Stork. Third base has already gone up for Hydra, as well as his first extractor, all very normal stuff. And with the no Zerglings, basically only one egg worth of Zerglings early on here, I think we're going to see Hydra just play a very macro game. I don't think we're going to see a run-by here, and it's just going to be continuous drone production out of his hatcheries, at least here for a little while. We do have a Zergling out for Hydra, just getting the scout, and he wants to know exactly when any Zealots for Stork are produced, particularly if Stork decides to go with some sort of pressure play, whether it be 1 Zealot or 3 Zealot very early game. He wants that Zergling there just for scouting information, so that way he knows that he has to start spamming some Zerglings out of his 2 hatcheries that are there, which actually might be a very good idea for Stork to do, knowing that Hydra has gone skimpy on his early Zealot, or on his early Zerglings. Could actually force Hydra to not drone up as much as he would maybe like. We do have a layer started here for Hydra, and Stork continuing to get that scout on it. This is one of the things about that low Zergling opening, is that this pro will basically stay alive forever until there is until a Hydra pops out, until there's an influx of Zerglings, something happens. He will have a complete scout on. It's just a matter of whether or not I mean, obviously Hydra doesn't care. He's not doing anything tricky, but at the same time, it gives a lot of advantages to Stork. Stork knows exactly what's coming his way. He knows exactly how much droning up is going on. And other than a couple of Zerglings, eggs of Zerglings that have been produced from the natural expansion, he knows exactly how many Zerglings are in play. He'll know when most of the tech is done. As soon as that layer is completed, I assume that he'll be scouting out the bases of Hydra, looking to see if there's a... looking exactly for that Spire, and also for the Hydra Den. All of these timings, the Evo Chambers, all of these timings will be perfectly known for Stork. Stork actually does have 2 assimilators here, so this is the new trend for Protoss, is to get the 2 assimilators and not go for any big 1 gas pressure play. That was the old style, the 4-gate Zealot pressure. That I think Bisu actually was the one who popularized it, I believe, big time. That probe finally does go down there, but I think Bisu was the one who was really doing a lot of 4-gate pressures and really revived that for a bit. But it looks like we've gone back away from that build and gone back towards more of the 2-gas, get your tech going. We got both the Stargate and the Citadel, so we're going to have a Temple Archives real soon. Probably going to see some storms out pretty quickly, and minimize your gates for a little bit longer. One of the things to watch out for with this build, though, is against the Hydra pressure build, it can really struggle. You can really be pushed back into your natural for a long time, and you sometimes have to play some pretty heavy cannon defense if your opponent decides to get really aggressive. So watch out for that should Hydra get very aggressive. It looks like right now he's just taking a lot of hatcheries. We do see, let's see, we got a 4th base going up, so this could actually end up being Turtle Zerg. And we have another hatchery at the 3rd base and another hatchery at the natural expansion. So we've got 1, 3, 5, 6 hatcheries right now. And Corsair scouting around is actually going to see the 6 hatcheries going on here. And we'll see how turtle-ish this becomes, or if perhaps we'll see more of a Zergling play than is often played by modern Zergs, which tends to be very Hydros heavy in the mid game. But you do have that option as well. You can throw down that extra hatchery or 2 and really start pumping a lot of Zerglings that give you a lot of mobility and map control. We do have 3 Zealots pushing out for Stork right now. Corsair's trying to pick off a Overload there. You're actually going to run away because it knows Scourger on the way, and it is actually going to dodge him. He will be fine. And here come the Zealots for Stork, and they are going to be late. The second colony is already off by just about 10-15 seconds from getting some harassment done. But no, he's going to have to retreat, and his Corsairs are actually going to be okay against these Scourge because of some nice micro. They're actually dodging a couple Corsairs around some Scourge that were coming in from both directions. Actually doing a very good job there. We do have DTs out already. Obviously, no speed overlords yet. It's a waste of gas unless you know that your opponent is going with the early DTs. I believe it's known now, so now we should have the upgrade starting soon for Hydra, but it's not an upgrade you get really early on unless you're either going for a drop or you know your opponent has gone DTs. And we do have the Nexus. The third base has gone up for Stork as well, and these DTs just being very annoying right now, picking off Zerglings. Not doing too much damage, just picking off Zerglings and doing a little bit of damage here and there. Nothing too significant, just being a nuisance and letting Stork have map control, which is, as we know in StarCraft, so important. Mutalisks have been unleashed by Hydra, and they are being sent out. They are going to start moving towards the base of Stork. Now, how much damage will they really be able to do? There are Corsairs around, and he does know that this is coming. There are some cannons coming into play as well to help defend this natural expansion. So I don't think these Mutalisks are going to be able to do too much here. They're trying to do a little bit of harassment, trying to bring in some Scourge to follow up as well to try and take down the Corsairs. But Stork being very, very careful with these Corsairs, doing a very good job of keeping them alive and fending away those Mutalisks. We have a couple more gateways coming up as well for Stork, and so that will let him start finally macroing. He's been macroing just off of 1 or 2 gates for quite a long time now. He's going to need obviously a lot more off. Once he gets that third base up and running, we'll see a ton of gateways thrown down. We'll probably see another 5 or 6 gateways thrown down, and he will start macroing like a fiend and really get his army going here. We do have a Maynard over to this new base, this third base for Stork, and he may actually get away with it quite freely because of the fourth base for Hydra, and it looks like he's not doing that Zergling build that I was kind of detailing a little bit. It doesn't look like he's going for a real pressure build, so that's going to let Stork be pretty happy here. As long as he can defend this third base from Mutalisk harassment and keep his High Templar alive, he'll be in pretty good shape. He'll be pretty happy. And we got to watch out for the Corsairs. The Corsairs actually losing several of their number to Scourge. Actually, it only looked like maybe 2 went down, and considering the number of Scourge that were there, I think that might actually be a low number, unless it was more like 3 or 4. I didn't get a good scout number, or a good number on the number of Corsairs. but I believe there was about 6, and if only 2 of them went down to all of those Scourge, it's actually not as bad as it looked. It looked like it could have been very awful for Stork, but I think they may have even caught Hydra by surprise, and he wasn't really prepared to clone them properly. We have 4 High Templars out right now, and we do see a few more gateways being thrown down. He should get that up to about 9 or 10 or so in that range. We'll also probably see a Robo pretty soon as well to prepare for possible lurkers, and if he wants to go for a break Stork, he's going to need those lurkers, or he's going to need those observers, because I can almost guarantee that Hydra will be getting lurkers relatively soon here. Looks like Hydra did not bother investing in Overlord speed. You can still see those Overlords moving very, very slowly. He knows DTs are out in the field, but I guess he's not too concerned about them yet because he's not putting on a whole lot of pressure, and that the Overlord speed should probably come about in time with a attack here. Mutalisk and Zerglings actually sneaking into the base of Stork, going to do a little bit of damage here. Probably not too much. There is a cannon inside of the main mineral line, and that is going to help defend a lot. And the Corsairs just ushering those Mutalisks away. Not able to do much of anything there is Hydra. So these Mutalisks have not accomplished much of anything. Maybe killed 3 or 4 probes. Scourge haven't done much of anything either. They've mostly just been a nuisance, if anything. So not a huge quality investment there from Hydra. He was hoping to do a little bit more damage with those, I'm sure. And try and keep Stork a little bit more on the back foot, but not able to do that so far. He has macroed up a Hydra's force. They are completely unupgraded, though, at least in terms of weapons and armor, whereas we do have +1 weapons on the Protoss army, and here they come, trying to get out here, and he does have some High Templar, needs to keep those alive. I don't know if he has... No, it doesn't look like he's going to use any of his Storm yet. I'm sure he has Storm just about completed right now, so this should be a time for some great Storms for Stork, as he's going to have to defend his 3rd base, and here come the Hydras, and where's the Storm? We need some Storm! 1 High Templar getting picked off without any Storm. Where is the Storm? Stork, you need Storm, not just Zealots. Here the Zealots are going, and there's a DT going, and they are doing a lot of damage here, tweaking out a lot of Hydralists. But at the same time, is this enough? Is this going to be enough? It looks like it just may be. That DT getting so many kills, 8 kills on that DT, pushing back all these Hydralists, and yes, they are going to keep this 3rd base alive, at least for now. Corsairs now trying to pick off Overlords as they come in to try and observe the DTs, and a couple of Corsairs actually going down there. We have some more cannons going up at the 3rd as well to help defend here. Some High Templar basically inside the mineral lines to give them a little bit more defense. And where's the Storm for Stork? Why isn't he storming these forces? He could really use them. They are asking to be stormed. Has Stork forgotten Storm upgrade? That would be the blunder. What a blunder if he forgot Storm upgrade. This would be as bad as him forgetting to get Dragoon range. This would be on the same level of, oh my god, Stork, what are you doing? Where is your Storm? Most of the cannons have gone down. Hydra's still rushing, and it looks like some Zealots are coming in here to defend, and they're pulling back again. Where is your Storm? His 3rd base may fall just because Stork there it is! Finally, we've got some Storm going on. And is gonna maybe help him keep this alive, at least for now. We haven't seen any Dragoons either, so where is all his gas been going into? I don't know. I honestly have no idea, other than High Templar, and I guess I really think that he just straight up, plain and simple, forgot the Storm upgrade there for a long time and didn't realize it, because there's just no reason for that to have happened. But he does manage to keep that 3rd base alive. He did lose some probes, did lose a lot of cannons, but he does manage to keep it alive. Looks like Hydra's coming in for another push here. If Stork can defend it, oh man, another High Templar getting picked off. That Storm doing very, very little damage. But if Stork can keep this 3rd base alive, buy enough time with his Zealots to get the cannons up again to help defend and reinforce with a couple more High Templars, he should be in decent shape and be able to head farther into the mid game. Another bad Storm by Stork actually, and Lurkers coming into play at the 3rd base, and they are going to do a ton of damage. All the probes go down. Every single probe at that 3rd base goes down. That's probably about a dozen or so, and that is going to be painful. The Lurkers trying to establish a better position here, and does Stork to have observers yet? I don't see them. He has Storm. It looks like he maybe even forgot observers, so this is not the best played game by Stork, I gotta say. Not to take anything away from Hydra. Hydra is playing pretty well and has a good strategy, but Stork just seems to be very, very forgetful. Doesn't have any observers yet. Forgot his Storm. This is not being very well not the best game that you'll see from Stork. Finally does have an observer out, so we will be able to clear out these lurkers. But will he save the Nexus? It looks like the Nexus is under 50 health, 24 health or so. I can't read that exactly, but maybe like 16 health, 6 health, something minuscule. And that base is not going to live very long. What you're going to see in the next 20 seconds, 30 seconds, is you're going to see a group of Zerglings come and just charge right in there and hit it, and there's going to be nothing that Stork can do about it. Even you just can't stop 6 damage from being dealt. That's just so little. A couple more Corsairs trying to pick off an Overlord, almost getting picked off by Hydra and Scourge, but it looks like maybe they'll get away. They'll at least get a scout on. Do have a couple more hatcheries at the top right at that new base, and Hive has completed as well as a Defiler Mound started. So Stork's got to be careful here. Once that Defiler Mound gets going, Dragoon and even just Zealots against Cracklings are not going to be enough. He's going to have to start mixing some Archons in and fight out of Swarm or mix some Reavers in so that way he can deal with Swarm pretty effectively. We have 1/1 upgrades on the Zerg Army melee and Carapace. Haven't seen the range upgrade quite yet, and +2 weapons for the Protoss army. Should be upgrading to +3 as you speak as well. And Stork now going on a little bit of a push of his own, heading straight for the natural. There are a lot of lurkers in a lot of spots spread out quite well to counter Storm, so he does have 3 observers. He's going to have to use those widely, and a bunch of Zerglings coming down. They are going to take out their base very, very quickly, very, very easily. Nothing Stork can do about that. Not even worth defending. It's already dead. And Stork just going to go straight up on the counterattack here. And we'll see how well this goes. Zealots going in first. This could be a bad idea by Stork. All those Zealots could die yes, and all the Zealots are going down so quickly to those lurkers. So this is actually going to be a problem once those Zerglings come back into play and the reinforcements come into play. He doesn't have enough Zealots left to defend his Dragoons, and here they come. Here come the Zerglings, and there's nothing left. And Stork is forced to GG with those Zealots going down so quickly to those lurkers. He just could not defend his group. And I think Stork, to be honest, I think Stork just needs to get his glasses back on. He's missing glasses. I don't know if you noticed that he switched from glasses to contacts, and that is not doing him any good. He needs to go back to getting those awesome nerd Stork glasses that were kind of him. They looked like that was Stork. Those glasses just looked like something that Stork would wear, and they were awesome. And he needs to go back to that because well, that game was not very pretty, I gotta say. Hydra did not play poorly. I don't want to take anything away from Hydra at all, but Stork did not play that well, in my opinion. I think he made several blunders in that game, from late Storm to late Observers to attacking with your Zealots first in that battle at the natural expansion of Hydra. Several mistakes there, and it's really going to cost him here. He's going to lose the first game, and so next week or so, I guess, well, by the time I cast this, it'll be pretty soon. In the next few days, I think they'll play the other 2 games, and then we'll get those cast for you, and we'll see who will actually advance into the quarterfinals. But that's it for this round of 16 match between Stork and Hydra. Hydra's going to take game 1. It is a best of 3, and the rest of the matches will come at you later next week. Until then, we are going to go on to, I believe, Zero versus Heroes next, or maybe Mine versus Light. We'll see. But one of those matches should be live. Actually, Mine versus Light is next, so I will see you guys all in that set next.